We are back. Today is Tuesday, the Tuesday after Lil Regionals. So, we're just gonna be doing another little tournament recap. We're gonna talk about the tournament, some usage stats, and what won. So, it is a European tournament. Obviously, Nils won. Nils is goated, and Nils brought a really cool team. We're gonna talk about this team. We're explain why Psychic Seed CORVIKNIGHT is the wave, why Power Trip is such a crazy move on it, and yeah. If you enjoyed this at any point in time, do me a favor, leave a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. And let's go ahead and get into it.
This channel is partnered with GamerSupps. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order GamerSupps through my link in the description down below or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. GamerSupps is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18+ viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video.
So, we're of course using the ever reliable lab mouse. If only I had a website which allows for me to look at the usage stats of Pokemon in recent tournaments. The ever reliable labmouse.com. .net, I mean. Okay, let's get into it. So, we'll talk about the results in a second, but I want to talk about usage stats. The significant jump in usage between Kingambit and Sneasler has resulted in a bit of discourse online as to which is more broken, Sneasler or Urshifu. Now, I think that this is a very simple answer. I think that Urshifu is way more broken than Sneasler, but I would rather play Urshifu any day than be put to sleep by Claw ever again. I think that we should remove Claw from the face of the earth, should obliterate it. And yeah, then Sneasler would be fun, in my opinion. Or we can just change how the move works. Just make it badly poisoned. Just make it 50% chance to badly poison, please. Why does it put things to sleep? But yeah, no. Urshifu way more broken than Sneasler, but Sneasler's far more annoying to face. So Sneasler at 45% usage in day one is pretty crazy. And when you look at top cut, if we top cut to 16, you can see that Sneasler remains at very high usage with 56% usage in top cut and a 46% win rate. But we're looking at the broader tournament. Wait, did it not go through? Oh, it did go through. Okay, hold on. I'm so bad at using this part of the website because I'm stupid. But all right, 638 teams. Now we're back to general usage. So next up in usage is Kingambit. And what I will say is that Kingambit Sneasler has proven to be a very strong combo. As you can see, as far as two Pokemon combos, it was the most used at 23% overall, only being followed by, you know, Sneasler Rillaboom and Rillaboom Kingambit. So I wonder what the top team will be if we put 3 Pokemon. Oh, look, it's them. But yeah, so this trio of Pokemon has proven to be quite strong in this format, mainly because they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. Obviously, Kingambit having that fighting weakness, Sneasler's able to switch in on fighting moves pretty effectively and also punish them back with Dire Claw or close combat. Rillaboom is able to take advantage of Sneasler's coaching, as well as Kingambit is able to take advantage of Sneasler's coaching. Golden Ghost sitting there at number 4 in usage because Sneasler is so powerful. And of course, we have like the usual suspects: Amoonguss, Incineroar, Archaludon, Primarina, Garchomp, and Dragapult as the rest of the top 10. But I think that the major discovery in terms of, you know, format progression has been coaching Sneasler being probably one of the better ways of using it. Before, your final move was kind of up in the air. You could do Fake Out as your final move with Protect, Close Combat, and Dire Claw, or you could put Throat Chop, Terra Dark as your final move. You keep Protect and Close Combat and Dire Claw. But now people are starting to wake up to the fact that Fake Out, it's whatever, it's fine, you know, it's a good move, but you know, you get more value out of other moves. Throat Chop, it's cool for beating Golden Go, but also you could just use the Kingambit next to it to beat the Golden Go. That's another reason Sneasler has Kingambit next to the laws, because it's a very hard Golden Go check. But simplest solution is just use that Kingambit, and hey, while you're at it, you can go ahead and click coaching into it, because Kingambit with a coaching boost, ooh, it is difficult to deal with if you don't have a fighting type. So if we look at Sneasler's usage here, we can see that coaching, it is less usage overall than Fake Out, with 104 of them running coaching and 156 running Fake Out, but it is still up there. Like, that's definitely a climb in in coaching usage. And the reason that Sneasler is able to be such a good coaching mon is because it sort of has its own inherent pressure to it. A lot of the ways you beat Sneasler is by positioning well, by going for like protect and dealing with it with a partner Pokemon. Beyond that, a lot of Pokemon are going to be redirecting, you know, Dire Claw into them, like, you know, Rage Powder, Volcarona. So you can sort of like bypass those turns of getting Rage Powdered, Follow Mead, or just like protected on by clicking coaching and taking advantage of the free turn with your partner Pokemon, because Rillaboom with an attack boost is a threat. You know, we all know Kingambit with an attack boost is a threat. Dragapult Choice Band with an attack boost is stupid. And it's really easy to run Sneasler and Dragapult next to each other and have the Sneasler outspeed it, because of a few techs that have picked up recently, like White Herb Sneasler with Unburden. You're able to either activate the White Herb by yourself by going for close combat, or you can have the opponent activate the White Herb by going for Intimidate with Incineroar. So this is actually really scary, because Incineroar can eat a close combat at -1. It cannot eat a close combat at neutral. And once that Sneasler is the fastest thing in the field, well, you have free range to click Dire Claw on whatever you want. So this mon is very strong, and it ended up winning the whole thing. You know, I think it's going to continue to win tournaments, but Kingambit at second, Rillaboom third, Golden Go. We basically talked about like all these archetypes. We see Mouseape is still sort of a thing that's kicking around right now. Annihilape has more usage than Mousehold, and also they work well, you know, apart from each other, but you can see Annihilape's biggest partner is Mousehold, and if we click on Mousehold, its biggest partner is not Annihilape. It is actually Archaludon. That's because Mousehold works well. Mousehold works without Annihilape, in that it's able to activate other Pokemon, but Annihilape works well without Mousehold because it's able to click Scarf Coaching or Scarf Final Gambit and other stuff like that. But yeah, beyond that, we see more of the same with this tournament. But if we look at the teams, I will say that there's like this running joke that EU can't build and US can't play, or not US, NA can't play, EU can't build. This has been proven to be false this week, in my opinion. EU, they got some builders out there. They got some builders. We had an Avalug on stream. Avalug did not make day 2, unfortunately. But you know, I think that the biggest example of EU can build are going to be these two teams, which is going to be Nil's team, which won, and then the third place team from Joan Garcia, which took advantage of coaching Sneasler and Baxcalibur. But I want to talk mostly about the team that won the whole tournament, because this team is something you're going to have to be prepped for going into Sacramento or the GC or whatever your next event is, because this is a very, very scary archetype. Scarf Indeedee is really scary next to Sneasler, because you can't fake out the Sneasler, and the Sneasler is going to be able to go for whatever it wants next to you. But the main thing is that Scarf Indeedee is usually used as like an endgame Pokemon to clean up once everything else has been chipped down by Tyranitar and Excadrill. You can see Terra Flying, Assault Vest Tyranitar. That's like the usual set. This is a very regular Tyranitar. The Excadrill is a common partner for Tyranitar, but it's sort of fallen off this generation. However, right now Excadrill isn't in a bad place. Ground types are in high demand because of Archaludon, but also having terrain control with the Indeedee allows for Excadrill to click Earthquake a lot more effectively. Usually you have to be scared of clicking Earthquake with a Rillaboom on the other side of the field, because that Rillaboom is going to be able to set up grassy terrain and decrease the damage of that. So running your only ground move as Earthquake is usually scary if it weren't for the fact that Indeedee terrain controls there. But yeah, the Sash Excadrill puts out a lot of offensive pressure on the opposing team, especially next to T-Tar, because of that speed boost from Sand, meaning that not only do you have weather control, but also the opponent's usually going to want to like protect and pivot around to try to get in a better position versus those mons, making it much easier to go for Swords Dance. And of course, as I've mentioned before, we do have Unburdened Sneasler next to this thing, meaning that you have a bunch of coaching targets here. The main ones being Tyranitar, Excadrill, and most notably, the craziest one here is going to be this Corviknight. So Corviknight is a Pokemon that I have been talking about for the past couple of weeks, just as a generally strong Pokemon, but I didn't really expect it to win a major. Now, why is this Corviknight scary? Well, we're going to have to take a look at its moveset to explain that. Usually Corviknight struggles because it's walled by Golden Go and other ghost types, because Corviknight's a mon that doesn't have a lot of damage output. It's only got 87 attack, it's only got 87 attack, and the typical moveset is usually gonna be like Brave Bird, Roost, Bulk Up, and Body Press as the final move. It's hard to hit everything with Brave Bird Body Press, but it's usually going to get the job done. And it's mostly like a matchup mon. It's like I see a Garchomp, I bring my Corviknight. I see physical attackers, I bring my Corviknight. It's like that sort of thing. But this moveset doesn't make Corviknight feel as reactive as much as it feels proactive. So basically, by throwing the Psychic Seed Corviknight next to Scarf and Indeedee, of course, Scarf and Indeedee, I try to type in Scarf. Of course, Scarf and Indeedee is like a scary Pokemon on its own, being able to deal damage on the special side of things and deal with opposing Sneasler, fighting types, whatever. By putting it next to that and Unburdened Sneasler with Coaching, you're actually able to get a lot of damage out of the Corviknight. Basically, the move Power Trip is a dark move. It's 20 base power, and you add 20 for every one of the user's stat boosts. It's basically a physical version of stored power that is dark type instead of psychic type. So they're like the same move, basically. Corviknight is really scary with setup because... How to explain it? Corviknight is really scary once it's set up, not with setup, but once it's set up, it's difficult to deal with because Mirror Armor means you can't lower any of its stats, and you're stuck trying to hit it on its special defense instead of its physical defense, and usually it's heavily invested in its special defense, so it's going to take like 2 or 3 super effective moves to KO it. That is scary on its own. By putting a Psychic Seed on the Corviknight, not only do you immediately have the 40 base power on the Power Trip instead of the 20, but you also make it much easier to set up your bulk ups because you're taking reduced damage from the special side of things. And the Sneasler and the Corviknight next to each other are just so scary because immediately, if you try to intimidate the Sneasler, it's going to activate the White Herb, and it's going to get Unburdened, and it's going to reset its attack stat, meaning that you accomplish nothing, and then you're going to get intimidated. And then the acceleration of the stat boost onto the Corviknight just becomes insane, because Coaching gives 2 stat boosts, 1 attack, 1 defense, and Bulk Up gives 2 stat boosts, 1 attack, 1 defense. You end up at +2 attack, +2 defense, and +3 special defense, or not +3, and +1 special defense, usually by the end of like turn 2. Sometimes, and like by the end of turn 1, you can be at +2/+2, but by the end of turn 2, you can like, it's either you're activating the special defense, or you're staying in, and you're going for another Coaching. So imagine this. You lead off Corviknight. We'll ignore the Psychic Seed for now. You're just using the Corviknight and the Sneasler on lead. Turn 1, Bulk Up, and Coaching. You're at double attack, double defense, and your Power Trip is now at what? That's 4 times 20 plus 20, so that's 100 base power Power Trip, right? Am I stupid? No, that is 100 base power. So now you have +2 attack and 100 base power dark move. Then on the following turn, you have options. You can go for Coaching to give yourself an additional 40 base power on your Power Trip, as well as better bulk, meaning that now you have 140 base power Power Trip, and you can either Roost on the turn that you boosted your defenses, or go for 140 base power dark move, or +3 attack Brave Bird. This mod becomes extremely difficult to break, and the fact that it's also like an anti-intimidate mod makes it really, really difficult just to deal with. And then you're not even including the Psychic Seed, because on the next turn, you have that 140 base Power Trip, you have like +3 in your defense, +3 in your attack. Indeedee hits the field on the next turn. Now, not only do you have the Indeedee, which is going to be able to threaten the opponent with Terra Psychic Expanding Force, which is major damage, even coming off of just 105 base special attack, but you also get the additional 20, so now that Power Trip's 160 base power. It's very easy just to accelerate boosts onto this Corviknight, and Corviknight already being a really strong anti-meta mon into so many common Pokemon makes it so strong. It's good into King Gambit, it's good into Sneasler, it's really good into Rillaboom, really good into Golden Go. It used to not be good into Golden Go, but this Power Trip set's amazing into it. Amoonguss is debatable. It's great into Incineroar because Incineroar's just it's going to get intimidated every time it tries to hit the field versus you, and you're going to have those defense boosts. Into Archaludon, it's debatable because you're not running Body Press. Body Press would be better, so Arch is kind of a rougher matchup for it. It's good into Primarina, +3 Brave Bird. You're just going to KO that thing. You wall Garchomp, you wall Dragapult, you wall Dragonite. You're able to deal with Annihilate pretty well. Annihilate does not break Corviknight if it has a Roost. It has to bulk up to match you, and then you end up winning the war, because I've seen this play out before my eyes. You ignore the Annihilate and kind of let it boost before you in some situations, and like that Corviknight gets up to +6/+6, meaning that it has 12 boosts, and each of those boosts are, 20 base power. So what? That's 240 base power plus 20. That's 260 base power power trip. If you and the Annihilate are both at equal attack, or if you and the Annihilate are both at, you know, +6 attack, +6 defense, there's no real difference in if you were just hitting each other at neutral because you're both just powered up to max. But 260 base power power trip, yeah, that's gonna break through the Annihilate at some point. So like that 1v1 is also kind of trivial unless they have like a ton of Rage Fist boosts. So yeah, but also they can like Rage Fist boost with side beat up, and then their Rage Fist accumulates power a lot quicker than your power trip. It depends, but like that's also like not like an unwinnable matchup. You wall Basky Legion, you do good into a Alolan Ninetales, except for Nils's CORVIKNIGHT. That thing got frozen. But yeah, no, this Mon is just like such a good anti-meta Mon right now, and like these three together are terrifying, especially the fact that the Sneasler doesn't need to focus on coaching the CORVIKNIGHT. The fact that it can also coaching a partner like Garchomp or Tyranitar or any other physical attacker makes this so threatening. So keep that in mind going into the GC. So that is like the biggest takeaway from this, is that CORVIKNIGHT is here. It's not on top of the metagame. It's on top of this one tournament, but dang it, you have to prepare for coaching CORVIKNIGHT. That is going to be a thing for at minimum like the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, and in the GCs this weekend. So yeah. The next big team I wanted to take a look at is Joan Garcia's team, which if we take a look at it, it's pretty cool. It's yet another coaching Sneasler team with Focus Sash Unburden instead of the White Herb. And that's kind of cool because you can actually coaching a few cool Pokemon on this team. Baxcalibur, Rillaboom, King Gambit, those are all phenomenal partners for it, especially Safety Goggles King Gambit with coaching. I love Safety Goggles King Gambit in this metagame. It's just really good into balance. But Dondozo is a pretty interesting one too, because you're going to be able to boost the Dondozo, which is just meant there to sit on the field. It's the usual Yawn Liquidation Fissure set that we tend to see in these bulkier formats. But yeah, Baxcalibur is also really cool. It's good into opposing Sneasler because you can Terra Ghost versus the Sneasler and KO them back with either Icicle Spear or Scale Shot. And then after a Scale Shot, you're going to outspeed a lot of important Pokemon, Dragapult, Dragonite, Garchomp. That's really cool. It's just like a really well-constructed team. I very much enjoy what's going on here. I think it's solid at the moment. And I think the third one I want to take a look at, because the rest of this feels very... It's what we expect. This is an EU can't build moment, but for the top cut, they could build. But Eduardo Cunha. So Edu, one of the best players of all time, possibly the GOAT. Once again, we see coaching Sneasler next to the loaded dice multi-skill Dragonite. That is a really cool adaptation. But Hisuian Samurott is a Pokemon that me and my friends have been labbing for the past couple of weeks. We dropped it after a couple of days, but we like pick it up here and there. It's a cool Pokemon, mainly because it has a phenomenal matchup into all 3 broken steel types at the moment. King Gambit does not want to face Hisuian Samurott because Sacred Sword one-shots. Golden Go does not want to face Hisuian Samurott because Knockoff and Sucker Punch do way too much damage, as well as the fact that you resist both of its stabs. And finally, what's the last broken steel? Archaludon does not want to take a Sacred Sword, nor does it want to take a Knockoff. Hisuian Samurott, especially with Assault Vest, very good into that Pokemon if you Terra. So yeah, this is more of a balancey sort of team. Of course, we have like that... we have like the Sneasler lead with Dragonite, so you can accelerate boost onto the Dragonite with coaching and then try to get KOs with Scale Shot. Also, the synergy of coaching with Scale Shot's kind of cool because you get the attack boost and you negate your defense drop. Magmar, follow me. That's like the usual suspect, especially next to Golden Go. That's going to be very strong. It'll allow for you to go for Nasty Plots pretty easily and then spam Make It Rain. And then Alolan Ninetales with Covert Cloak. We've seen Alolan Ninetales on top of the format for a couple of weeks now, or even like a couple of months at this point. It's a very strong Pokemon. Usually you tend to see the Focus Sash or the Choice Specs at the moment, but Covert Cloak is pretty strong. It's going to allow you to avoid getting faked out or even like Dire Clawed into and having a negative effect. Which I guess that makes sense why they're running Terra Water instead of Terra Ghost, because the Covert Cloak will cover for the lack of fake out immunity on that front. But yeah, those are like the 3 main teams I want to talk about. Beyond that, we just see like the usual suspects. We see Turbo Blursa. We see Archaludon Rain. We see the consistent second place team that Paul Chua ran. Except for that one time, Agati ran it at Sao Paulo, or not Sao Paulo, I forget which event it was, Joinville. When he ran it at Joinville, he won. But yeah, it's mostly just what you'd expect beyond that. But these teams in Top Cut, This is really cool. I'm really excited to try out this Corviknight archetype in the future and just see where we can take that to, you know, where we can progress it. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. If you guys enjoyed, do me a favor, leave a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications, and comment down below what Pokemon from this tournament you would really like to see more of. Anyways, have a nice one. Bye.